Here. What is up, guys? We're back with another episode of the Playmaker podcast live. I believe we're on episode number 8. We're going to get this shared out. We're going to let some people roll in here. Hope everybody's doing well tonight. As always, I'm your boy, Deafness45. Nate, how you doing tonight, big dog?
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's boy Nate. Hey, I'm just glad for episode 8. We got tons of the things to talk about, so I'm ready. So let's get it.
All right, Brady, how you doing tonight, brother?
Good. As you can see, I'm sporting my Block M, big Michigan win, this first Big Ten championship since 2004. So I'm pumped. I'm excited.
All right. Balls?
You know, we're on to Green Bay, so Green Bay sucks this week. I don't care if we're going to lose. Green Bay sucks. You'll hear it from me. But, no, I'm doing pretty good, man. Went to the Bears game yesterday, so you guys are probably going to have to carry me a little bit on the NFL. I didn't get to see too many highlights, but overall just a good day. So, yeah. Pretty excited.
Yeah. I saw that, whether there's in any situation like that, anytime you get a chance to actually enjoy a game, which in your case right now would be more like being just to go, and hanging out with the father or whatever, but then also down the road, with Maddox and stuff, being able to take him when he gets older, that bond time, regardless if they win or lose, man, it's all about that time. It's just sharing those moments together. It's you can't replace them, and those are moments that you have to try to gain as much as you can while we're around. So we're going to start off. My playmaker for the night is for the night tonight for the week is going to be Bryce Young. They rolled over Georgia, beating Georgia to gain that number 1 spot, 26 for 44, 421 yards and 3 touchdowns. Dude just beasted again. So Nate, who you got for me on your playmaker this week?
So my playmaker this week is one Kyler Murray. So yes, the number might not stand out too much, but after missing 3 games, he had 2 throwing touchdowns. Also ran in 2 touchdowns as well. So kind of, we might people say like, hey, I'm back. The Cardinals are still good, and this is like it's pretty much like his bounce back game. Being off for a while. So Kyler Murray, my playmaker of the week.
Yeah, Nate, I don't think that's a bad pick at all. I mean, we say numbers because we look at the overall yards, like 11 for 15, 123 passing, 2 TDs, 10 rushes, 59 yards, 2 TDs. But those 4 TDs are huge. 2 on the ground with his legs, 2 in the air.
Yep.
No wrong. So I agree with it. I like it. Brady, playmaker.
My playmaker, and it's a little bit biased, but is the one, the only Jim Harbaugh. And I think it's a playmaker of the week, obviously, but I think I'm going to use some full season kind of reasoning of why I think he should be considered a playmaker. You have a Michigan team that went 2-4 last year and didn't really play well, and you have they replaced six assistant coaches this offseason, and you had a commitment from him. Even he took a different salary, which was very incentive based. He took a pay cut and said, I don't want to get paid until I win a Big Ten championship, until I go to a college football playoff, until I do some of these things. And my goodness, the next season, what does he do? He goes out and wins a Big Ten championship, and they're on their way to a college football playoff. But I just think it's awesome to see a coach of his caliber kind of understanding his shortcomings and willing to put his money where his mouth is, and then go back it up with a Michigan team that's obviously way different than any other Michigan team they've had since he's been there. So for that, I think he should be in the nomination for Coach of the Year, and I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a lot of votes for it.
And with that incentive, and if he goes and wins a national championship, he's no longer going to have to use his 20% off discount coupons in his Kohl's Cash for those khakis anymore. He's just going to go all in, baby.
You would have been proud of me. I was wearing my
Ride or die. Khakis don't lie, baby. Or we got to get some slogan, right?
You would have been proud of me. I was at a family reunion this weekend, and I had my Michigan jersey on, and I had khakis on. So I was sporting the entire outfit.
Do it. Balls. What do you got for a playmaker, bud?
Even in his loss yesterday, he stood out to me. And like I said, I didn't get to watch too many games. I had a couple other choices that I looked at. But I picked George Kittle. And the reason why I did was because, 9 catches, 181 yards, 2 TDs. The Niners had 360 yards of total offense. He had half of their total offense as a tight end. It's pretty incredible. And if we're putting that on a historic pace, George Kittle now has 4 of the top 11 receiving games by a tight end all time. And he's in the top 3 with that. The next closest guy is Shannon Sharp, and he's a Hall of Famer. So we're talking pretty elite company there. Not even Rob Gronkowski cracks that list. And we know how dominant Gronk and Travis Kelce and some of these guys have been, and they're not on the list. The closest one was Darren Waller, and he had a big game one time. To be on that list 4 times in the top 11, I got to go with him, even in the loss.
Oh, I agree, man. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm going to go. Let's go back. Let's go reverse, boss. I'm going to start with you. Let's do the Monday night game prediction. So we got the New England Patriots at the Buffalo Bills. Who do you got for me and why?
Well, the weather in Buffalo right now is awful. It's awful, awful, awful. I don't know if you guys have seen it. A lot of wind. And one thing we've preached on is the Bills, they don't really have a running game that we've seen too consistent. New England's always done that week in and week out. So Buffalo gets actually the points at home too at 3, which I thought that was a little bit high for this week. So give me the Patriots and the points. The under big time. They're not going to be kicking field goals tonight unless you're within 35 yards maybe. It's going to be a knockout, drag-out game in the trenches. So I like the Patriots and their defense to pull this one out tonight.
Gotcha. All right. Sweet. So, Brady, where are you at?
I'm going to take Buffalo, and I think the reason is I think the differentiator tonight is going to be Josh Allen's legs. And I think that it's something that hasn't had to be used a ton. He uses it when he needs it. But in a game like tonight where you have 2 very stout defenses, the Patriots defense has been carrying them very well. How hard the Buffalo defense is to score on. I think the big differentiating factor will be how much is just the threat of having a guy like Josh Allen and maybe doing some zone reads, some scrambling on his behalf. And how much is that going to open up some of the run game that maybe we haven't had to see because they haven't had to do it. And now tonight they're going to have to. Yeah.
All right. Good take. Nate?
So I'm gonna go Buffalo as well. This is a must win for Buffalo because honestly I think if he loses game to New England, then I think this would probably be New England's divisional win. But like I said, like Ball said, it's windy, it's so snow, so it's definitely gonna be more Josh Allen, like Brady said, more Josh Allen uses his legs, him probably running for maybe about 50, 60 yards. That's him, or a lot of RPO, kind of him. Maybe show him make a run and get a Singletary or Breida, or maybe
Zach Moss, got the three-headed horse.
Yeah. Yes. So this will be probably a low-scoring game. Probably see a lot of defense, a lot of running. So I'll probably say might be like a 16-14 kind of game, Buffalo.
Oh, no. I like it.
So, yeah, I'm good with that.
I like it, Nate. All right, so I'm going to go Buffalo. Obviously, we're in the hat, but I tell these guys beforehand, I'm a fan of this Mac Jones kid. I actually was a fan pre-draft or when they drafted. I kind of had that weird feeling that he was going to be that quarterback, if he gets in the spot between the guys getting the nod playing and whatnot, who's going to be the one that outperforms the rest of them as far as that goes. I do see it a close game. I think Allen's going to use his. I agree with you guys on the legs thing. I think he's going to be involved. I think he finds pay dirt with his legs maybe once, maybe even twice. But I also feel like, we probably don't talk enough DFS on these, and this is supposed to be involved too. But wind and whatnot is always an interesting theory or game talk when you're building and you're looking at DFS. Now in a game like tonight, it's only in the slates the way they are. You only have one game, you only have 2 teams to choose, right? But I'm talking like let's take this on a Sunday basis where there's 12, 13, 14 games. a lot of times early on in the week, before you figure out where the weather's really going to be, and all of a sudden this wind comes in at certain stadiums, you'll get super high or heavy on certain quarterbacks sometimes, and they'll be in an outdoor stadium, wherever, and it's like they're in the smash spot, they're in a perfect spot, and then all of a sudden it becomes Sunday or Saturday night, you start hearing about it. Sunday morning, you start hearing, this wind's going to be this big factor. It's going to play such a huge role in this game. And then you have guys like the Patty Mahomes, the Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, all these guys show up in these games where wind was supposed to be such a huge factor. And yet, yeah, they probably use their legs a little bit more, but yet they still end up throwing 2-3 touchdown passes sometimes. I think we get a little thrown off with wind, and it's going to depend stadium by stadium, how the wind's blowing and whatnot. But the stadiums all have, you know what I mean? Unless they're throwing this ball up over the horizons, or it's closer to where like openings would be. And those are usually how many feet back anyway, right? And they're like slit openings, or depends on how the stadium's built. Some not at all. Like Arrowhead, all the way around. It's just that it kind of pillars at the top, lower, like they got the weird shape around the top, but that's still how many feet, 100 feet up in the air, however tall the stadium is. So be careful when you're looking at that, especially on a DFS side, when you're building lineups. Don't get thrown off by wind all the time. I mean, if it's a snowstorm and it's just crazy, like blizzard and snow is everywhere, or rain's just super heavy, yeah, you can't, that doesn't stay from coming into the stadium, and that's still going to play have a huge effect and a role in it. But just be careful. But yeah, I think Buffalo wins this. I do think Mac Jones has a decent game. I think he continues to show up and show us kind of who he is and who he's going to become in the NFL. But I do feel like in the end, Buffalo is going to win this game. I would say it's probably going to be like I'll say a 24 or 21 or 24-17 Buffalo. So I don't know. We lost balls for a second. Maybe I got to add him back in. I don't know.
My bad. I went to read the chat and I hit the wrong button.
Oh, you're good. All right. No worry. Everybody, what's going on? It's hard for us to say hi to you guys. When you come in, we like when you say hi, but if we don't say hi back to you, it's just because we got to kind of focus on the talking. We're not trying to, ignore you or whatever. We see you there, but you just got to keep rolling. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to do what we always do at the beginning of these deals. We're going to spin the wheel, figure out who gets the 30 PayPal or auction credit. Brady, why don't you tell us or tell the people how they can get in on this each and every week?
Yeah, so every week after we do the podcast and Deafness posts it, you can go in and leave a comment. A comment of what you thought of the podcast, a question that you have for the next week that you want us to discuss, anything that you think is interesting or you want us to talk about, and that'll enter you into our weekly $30 break or our $30 credit. And then at the beginning of the next episode, we spin the wheel and see who wins that, and Deafness will get that to you via PayPal or auction credit in his Tuesday night auctions that he has.
Right on, man. You did it perfect. I couldn't have sold it any better. All right, let's get it. So here's what we got. These are the names. These are everybody that had posted a comment this week. Let me just make sure. Yep, I got them all updated, I believe. All right. So everybody's on here. Everybody that posted a comment, question, topic is in here. Again, once this uploads, end of the night when we're done and we end live, it should upload within the next 5 minutes. It's live for you to drop a comment in, question, topic. Do what Brady said and get yourself in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to shuffle the names 7 times as we do every single week, because that's my number. Once we shuffle the names 7 times, I'll hit the wheel to spin. Whoever it lands on wins. So good luck, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Joe Mann's at the top, Steve Marshall at the bottom, and good luck, fellas. Mr. Joby won Kenobi. He's been on our show actually even. Congratulations, my brother. I know you're in need of some help, so that can help you out a little bit. So congratulations on that. We appreciate you.
Hey, Def, before we move on too, brother, you guys be checking uploaded videos too. Def's got another giveaway going with Triple Diamond that you guys might want to check out. So, keep an eye out for those.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So I guess maybe we just roll right into it. Maybe we just start with the big weekend Saturday we had with college football. We ready to talk that and just jump right in? So I'm going to just throw what I always do. I'm going to throw out the main couple game scores, whatever, who played who beat who. And then I'm going to let you guys kind of take over and throw in everything you saw. You can touch on each game, however you want to go about it. So kind of in the listing is how I went through on the scores. Number 9, Baylor upsets number 5, Oklahoma State, 21-16. 19, San Diego State loses to unranked Utah State, 46-13. Number 3, Bama upsets number 1, Georgia, 41-24. Michigan continues to roll. It wasn't necessarily an upset, but you just never know in these games, especially these Big Ten championship games. Rolls beating 13, Iowa 42-3. And that's kind of pretty much the main, like, what kind of stood out as far as who beat who, that were more upset-ishy than anything else. So I guess I'm going to probably turn the tide. Let's let Brady hit on this first since, he's got the Michigan hat on, and this is close, near, and dear to him as being a big Michigan fan and continuing to roll with the wins. Talk to us, man. How you feeling?
Hey, if you had told me at the beginning of the year we'd have a place in the conference or in the college football playoff, I would be a very happy man. I'm a little disappointed that we didn't jump up to number 1. Obviously, the team you want to play in the 4 right now is Cincinnati. It's very unproven. Right. They were the record, obviously the record's 12-0, but who have they played? But my first instinct on Saturday was, maybe this Georgia's team isn't as good as we thought. And my reasoning is they haven't really played anyone of substance since almost October. The last team that they played that was really a pretty decent football team was maybe Kentucky on October 16th. So they've had a lot of very kind of easier games. And, they've been a historic defense. I'm not taking credit away from them. But this Alabama game was the first time where they've gone up against a team kind of caliber-wise for them. And so I think part of that might be a reaction that you saw of the committee with putting them number 1. How much of that is recency bias? Because it has been pretty obviously talked about all year. Bama's up, Bama's down. Bama didn't play well. They didn't play well against Auburn. They didn't, and now they go and beat Georgia, which is an amazing win. But then I look at the Michigan football team, who has consistently gotten better and better and better. And even their one loss against Michigan State, you had the touchdown taken away. With the committee even putting them over Michigan State, saying that we thought that Michigan was a better football team, even though they lost. So part of me in my head was thinking maybe there was a shot for them at 1. I'm not going to be upset. And, if we win a national championship, nobody can ever say, oh, you didn't have to play one of those teams, because we're going to have to beat Georgia. Or we're going to have to beat Alabama. So if we're going to get it done. There's no excuses after that. If you beat them both, there's nobody that can doubt you anymore. So.
And I guess I think, and the obvious path here, I guess, I think, why Bama gets 1 is because they beat 1, right? I mean, you got everybody being right there. I agree, man. I would say I would actually put money on Michigan beating Alabama if the same team continues to show up that's showing up these last 2 weeks. Right? If this is the team that you give me to show up, I would be betting myself. I'd be betting that they're going to be the underdog, right? They're going to be the underdog because Bama's going to be 1. They're going to be ranked 2. Well, however close it is, wherever Vegas sees this line, I'm not sure. But I'd be willing to put money on Michigan, seeing as Michigan the better team. But I think, as we know, because they were ranked, because Bama was ranked 3 and beat 1 Georgia, if tides were reversed, Michigan beat Georgia. They played instead. It just happened that way. Then obviously they'd be number 1. It's just the way they work the poll. So balls or Nate, or go ahead, Brady.
Quickly, that gets into the interesting conversation of the College Football Playoff Committee, right? What they have stated and what their precedent has stated is that every single week they reset and look at the entire body of work of the entire season for that week. So if that's the case, I think that makes for a better argument of Bama might have a better overall body of work.
Right.
I just hope that there wasn't any sort of, we don't want to see Georgia Bama again. I hope if they honestly believe that Alabama had the best body of work and wanted to put them one, that's fine. But I just have the hard time thinking that the College Football Playoff Committee didn't at least take into fact that Bama and Georgia just played. And that had to have taken some sort of impact into how they ranked them. I have to.
Absolutely.
I can never prove that, but you know, and so that's the only thing that would frustrate me. But I mean, I don't know what you want Michigan to do. They just won by 39 points against the number 13 team in the country. So they did their job, but I guess it just still wasn't enough in the committee's eyes, which I don't know what else you can do.
Right. No, I agree. Balls?
Yeah, I mean, Brady pretty much hit it right on the head. I think the thing, Brady, that you can look at, though, with these matchups is that Michigan front matches up pretty well, both offensively and defensively, with both Georgia and Alabama's fronts. So, you know, that game's going to be won in the trenches. And, you know, Bama right now, the thing that's carrying them is that quarterback, I think. You know, that quarterback play's been top level the past couple weeks for him. You know, he didn't really have a good game against Auburn per se, but, you know, he's made plays when they need it. And that's what you're going to need in these next 2 games that they're going to play. You know, everything's set up pretty well. If Georgia would have won, you know, does Notre Dame make it then? Because I think that they had a case to be in over Bama, you know, but Bama winning like that, you know, Bama dominated Georgia for a lot of that game. So I think the rankings are right. You know, Michigan has every claim for, you know, the number 1 seed. But I do see Alex's thing that Michigan has no chance versus Bama or Georgia. I don't believe that. You know, I don't believe that at all. Do they match up? You know, both teams match up really well. Playmakers are going to matter in that game. So it's going to be the same game plan Michigan had against Ohio State. Control the ball and just don't make that big turnover. Capitalize when you get it and win with your defense. They're going to be knockout, drag-out games, and you guys know from listening to me, I love that kind of football. So I'm looking forward to both of them.
Right.
Well, Balls, I think you made a good point, though. It's going to take big players stepping up. And, you know, I want something else for Bama. Mechie's out now with a torn ACL, so that's their number 1 weapon gone. You know, Georgia, I think Michigan, at least when I saw, was a 7-point underdog to Georgia. I think that's decent value for – just because I think of how physical that game is going to be. Also, Georgia's quarterback has not been impressive at all. And then you look at Michigan defensively, and they have guys all around that can make big plays. And it's going to take a couple big plays. I think I talked about it during the Ohio State game. It's going to actually take a turnover or 2 against Georgia. That's what it's going to actually take. Ohio State, yes, I was predicting a turnover. We didn't end up needing it. But there's another physicality when you get to the SEC. It's going to take Aiden Hutchinson, Daxton Hill, Ajaba, one of those guys making a big play. And then can you play clean football? And, you know, Cade McNamara has shown he's been able to do that. He's thrown a pick in each of the last 2 games, but they haven't hurt him. So we will see. And that's what hurt Georgia on Saturday. You saw, what was it, 3 or 4 picks? So you can't make mistakes like that against a team of Bama and Georgia's caliber. Nate, what do you think?
So I want to I'm seeing some comments in the chat. Hang on, Nate, real quick. I want to stay with Brady on this Michigan thing, and then I'm going to give it to you, Nate, real quick. Before I forget, before they get lost in the thing. So we got Alex in the comments stating, you know, Michigan doesn't have the speed, right? The SEC always makes it. Michigan doesn't stand a chance versus Bama or Georgia. What do you say, or what do you back up to that? Being a Michigan guy.
Is Ohio State not a high-powered enough, speedy offense for Michigan to show that they can contain them? I mean, they have the 3 best wide receivers combination in all football. I mean, without a doubt. And C.J. Stroud was in the running for the Heisman at least, you know, 2 weeks ago. So the speed thing doesn't really bother me. It'll be the physicality thing. and then we'll actually see. And the other thing is, Michigan has been the most physical team in the Big Ten. They manhandled Ohio State, right? And so we're going to see how physical or can they be. I'm not saying Michigan's going to go out and beat Georgia, but I think when you have a team that is that physical going up against an SEC team, I think they match up decently well. But it's going to come up to big plays. That's what it's going to come down to.
And I think that comment more or less came probably towards me because I said if Michigan and Georgia play, I would take, Michigan would be the underdog, but I would take Michigan to beat them. I think that's where that comment probably came. You didn't specifically say that. You didn't say anything. It was more what I was saying. I just kind of threw all those in there together because it was all kind of based towards Michigan. Nate, what do you think? What do you think, big dog?
So Michigan and Georgia, that's gonna be a war. Like that's gonna be a fight because they're pretty much two similar teams. They play great defense. They both run the ball, but like Brady said, like I think the difference might be that QB play. Georgia's quarterback has been a great McNamara. He's been playing much better, been playing more confident football. So that could be the difference in that game. But the question, the thing I want to talk about is how Cincinnati's going to do. Because Cincinnati's play is going to depend on how similar teams like Cincinnati are judging the playoff. Because I'm like, even if they lose to Alabama, if they somehow keep it close or still play some good football, or the team's like, okay, a team like Cincinnati could be like beating the playoff, but if they lose 40-10 or get blown out, it's like it be some pause. Okay, like we can't really hand them in the playoffs. So pretty much how Cincinnati plays is going to be huge, not for just now, but into the future of the playoff. But they don't expand to 8 teams.
Right. Well, they're playing on behalf of all of the other 5, right? Like in essence, like you want to say that they're playing on behalf of themselves and they are going out there to try to prove who's wrong, but they're honestly, this is an audition for any team from the non-Power 5 conference. Because if Cincinnati goes out there and gets blown out, this playoff committee is going to look and they're going to be like, "Why? I don't care. You're 11-0. You have beat nobody." And there's real questioning of how good Notre Dame is because they weren't that great. So I understand we look at them and the committee has to value it as if they're the number 5 team in the country because they're 11-1. But I'd have a hard time believing they're the actual 15th best team in the country. So it'll be very interesting to see how Cincinnati handles it. But I think they're completely auditioning for even an expanded playoff. How much value does the committee give these non-Power 5 conferences?
Exactly.
And so you bring up Notre Dame, and there's actually a question. Good time for this. We'll kind of segue it in because it's Notre Dame, and we're talking college football, right? Some of our questions, comments. I believe it's your father, Brady. Thoughts on Brian Kelly leaving Notre Dame? Is it a good move for his coaching career? ? What are you guys' thoughts?
Well, what a crazy week for college football. Even today, Oregon's coach went to Miami. I'm a Miami Hurricanes fan. Talks of Joe Brady joining that staff now that he's been fired. But when it comes specifically to Kelly, overall, the SEC runs college football. And any coach is going to take that opportunity to jump if they can with the SEC. So, it doesn't surprise me. Do I think it's a good move? You're always going to be going up against the Alabamas, the Georgias. The SEC isn't a joke.
Yes. But if you're trying to make a name for yourself and wherever you're trying to go, you want to play.
Yeah, I think that's his best chance to win a title. I think where he was at Notre Dame, he's not going to do that at Notre Dame. They hit their plateau, I think. This is the best year. They've kind of had good years under him, been in that category. But I don't think Notre Dame's going to go to that next level with him, whether it's his recruiting or whatnot. So I think for him, it makes sense. And, Notre Dame now has a very young coach that he's been the one that they said really took over recruiting the last 2-3 years for him. So I don't see a drop off from Notre Dame as far as recruiting. I really wanted to see them make the playoff because it would have been like a us versus the world mentality. Our coach quit on us. But I honestly, I think it's the right move for him, even though he's leaving. a top 5 team in the nation. The SEC rules college football.
Right.
I
Anyone
also kind of
else?
wonder. I wonder how much him looking at the maybe updated playoff committee or the updated playoff and how many teams might be in it, right? Because the playoff committee has come out and said that they are going to prioritize conference championship winners. And, that's another obvious thing that they will never be able to do until they join the ACC, if that's what they're going to end up doing, like they have in all their other sports. So that's an extra game that they don't get. Also, if there's going to be some negotiation of guarantees in like a playoff of 12, for example, does the Big Ten get guaranteed spots? And then are they a part of the other that is not Power 5? And
Right.
what does that look like, and how can that impact their playoff chances going forward? And plus, I mean, part of it obviously is been there 12 years. Part of it's just wanting a new challenge, which is understandable. But I'm curious I'm sure it had to have come across his mind of how much can we really compete moving forward if the playoff expands.
Right. Right. Nope, I agree. Anyone else? Anything they want to add to any of that?
Well, I got to give one shout out to a local team. NIU won the MAC. They were projected to be the last place team in that conference. They won the MAC this week. So shout out the Huskies. I get to follow them because they're close by. Just a pretty good story about a team coming together and defying some odds. So shout out NIU.
All right. And then Brady, I know you wanted to touch on, while we're still in the college thing, at least for college football, there's some kind of weird thing with the whole score of the Michigan game. We wanted to touch on the Tate Myrie a little bit.
So for those of you that didn't watch the game this weekend, Michigan had a patch on their jersey, and it was the O for the Oxford, which was the shooting here in Michigan. And it had TM, which is Tate Meyer. He's a player on the Michigan football team at Oxford. And then number 42, which is what his number was, and then 4 hearts for the 4 people that lost their lives. It was pretty cool for them to be on, for that Michigan to honor them. The Lions did something this weekend as well. But then for Michigan to go out and score 42 points, just kind of one of those things. And it's just one of those sports things that just kind of, I'm sure it was a big tribute to the family and those people.
Right.
Whether you like Michigan, well, there was a report that he really wanted to go to Michigan State, and so, but whether or not you like Michigan or not, I'm sure that it was meaningful to the Oxford community and the family. So it was just a cool story, and it was a story, obviously about Tate. Quote here from his coach is that he was told that everybody in the school was running one way and he was running the other. So it's just honoring a guy running into harm's way, try to save other people. So.
Save other people's lives. A true hero. I mean, at the end of the day. Yep. So, true hero that probably, is getting recognition now that he's gone, but probably not ever going to get enough, to be honest with you. That's just kind of how that usually works, right? And then we have other people that we look as true heroes, or we call heroes, athletes, what have you, that maybe don't they're maybe not great models or role models, and I just want to add one thing to that too, because somebody had posted something on social media or something about like players or something and how they're not very good role models towards children. And as much as children are involved in watching sports and are big fans of it, at the same time, someone replied something like, I don't remember what it was, but it was something like, well, as if you're a parent, that should be your responsibility to, teach your children the right ways, right? And so, just kind of a funny little thing to throw out there, as we look at one side as a parent, hey, we want these guys to be good role models because kids look up to them. But yeah, at the same time, like if you're raising your kids right and you're teaching them right, they should know the rights and the wrongs, and they should be able to figure that difference out, like what's good and what's not good. So just a little something to throw out there. Anything else for college football? Looking a couple questions, comments from the thing. We're trying to cover those in each section if we can remember to. Let's see. We did the thoughts on the Brian Kelly leaving. Joby One Kenobi says Buckeyes best number 1. Duke not beating Michigan in football, but it was a big win. Fox Bama. What's that?
That's college basketball.
Oh, yeah. I guess it's saying Buckeyes. When you're saying Buckeyes number 1, I thought he meant like Buckeyes best. He should have put a comma, I think. I was thinking he was claiming like Buckeyes were still the number 1. So that's why I think I read that way. Roll Tide roll. Hopefully we will come out on top Saturday. That was last week before the game. Let's see. Anything else? Olympics. You covered Michigan. We kind of talked about the number 1 seed, them not being number 1. All right, so I think we're good. We're gonna move on. Let's roll into the MLB. Let's talk some MLB. So the MLB is on strike, right? Kind of saw that was coming. It's what is it? The owners. It's not the actual players.
Yeah,
so
the owners.
The owners. So that's another thing to keep in mind when we're talking about this, or when people talk about it, or you talk about it with other people. It's not the players themselves that are doing it. It's the owners. So don't be getting all pity gritty and pissed off at the players, because they're not the ones that are actually doing it. And I was on the hobby hotlines this past Saturday, and we talked about this for a little bit. And, we can kind of roll some hobby talk into this, because we don't talk enough hobby, I think, on these podcasts, and that's supposed to be part of the show. But what are your guys' feelings about, and now we got to remember, too, this is another thing we got to look at. It's still not even like spring break or spring training or, nothing. So who knows how long this could last? A couple weeks, this could last months, this could last a season. We don't know yet, right? If we were to lose some games, okay, if we lose some games, we lose a quarter season, a half season, a full season, how much impact do you feel it plays on the hobby in general? So is it a pot? I mean, how effect-wise, do you think it does anything? Does it help it? Does it make it worse? What are your guys' feelings? What are your takes in reference to hobby and the MLB strike?
I think probably like it might impact more. I mean, like the prospect prices. I mean, like the young guys, the prices might fluctuate maybe a little bit. But like the more like established guys, I don't think the price like the Mike Trouts, the Cunas, and so like that. I don't think the price is gonna matter too much. But the prospects might fluctuate.
So let me just throw one thing at you, Nate. When you say like the effect prospects. So what about players? Like a lot of these players that are playing daily in the bigs, right? The MLB.
Yep.
Just like in every sport, what happens? What do you see on social media every time somebody starts just having a great game or starts to get on a roll? What do you see?
Yep.
People are posting their names and they're putting the little stocks rising, right? Because everybody's searching and everybody's looking. So that's kind of what you have to think of too. So not necessarily just prospects, right? Prospects can't really continue to improve or make a name for themselves to wave up to the bigs.
Yeah.
But these main players, the names, even the Trouts and whoever, they're not playing, they're not doing anything. So how can their popularity get better, right?
Yeah. But I don't know, but like it's that like at the same time, like they really can't make his stock worse either by playing bad, because like they know how it is too. Because like if a player struggles, then
correct.
Going down. So it's kind of like they're not.
But we're not going to see any rise of anybody.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. You're saying so. I think for the most part the price is probably going to stay pretty level. I don't think they're going to really drop or go up too much. But
all right, Balls.
Well, and maybe I don't know. Does that include minor league baseball, the lockout?
Nope. Minor league baseball will proceed as
scheduled. They'll still play.
So I mean, maybe you have people, but maybe you have people start to look at that AAA system a little bit more and start taking stabs there. Personally, I think you're going to see a different allocation of funds for people. They're going to put their resources in another product somewhere else too. You're going to always have your baseball collectors, but somebody, a lot of the hobby right now is that quick buck, grab it, flip it, rip it. There's that argument in the hobby. I don't really care. Do what you do with the hobby. It's your hobby. Make it what you want.
Right.
But those people are going to shift, my guess, because you're not going to see those swings in massive prices in your everyday players. There'll probably be a drop for a lot of the average everyday guys. What's it do to a guy like, you've been talking, Devers? What's his value go to now? His value should be through the roof. When we're looking at him right now, he should be talked amongst some of the names in the hobby, but he's not. Do a lot of people fall off that trail of him completely? Can you get some of his stuff a little bit cheaper then? Even though it's cheap now, people could move.
So that's another great thing that you say, Balls. And so that's another angle you could take from this. You could actually take advantage if you start seeing no movement or drop on some of these players, and you feel like they went into it, like maybe they went to a new team and they feel like they went to the team that if there is a postseason, or maybe the following year if they get everything taken care of and they're going to get in the postseason, they're going to win it. Maybe they have a chance of winning a championship. That's a chance where you might be able to buy low as well and hold. So if you're going to buy low and hold, that might be an angle to take as well, talking MLB and hobby.
So just for the record, to update everybody, this is kind of off subject, but the NFL game, the Patriots scored, had an opportunity to kick the field goal, did not, went for 2.
Yeah.
It's the weather, the wind there must be affecting kicks. So just to keep that in mind.
Well, I think wind regardless always affects kicks.
Right.
I think that's always an issue because it's so close to I'm talking, like I just talked about when we were talking about before, most stadiums, they have those openings in the corners, right? The goalpost is way at the end of the end zone. So it's all that, like the range of where you're going to be, within that 20-yard line and going back, you're so close to it's going to have the biggest effect in, I think, those areas of the stadium. That's what I'm getting at. When you get to like the 25 and you're going towards, going down and you 25 to the other 25, I think in that area, you're not going to have as big of an issue with wind in most cases, but still issue. But
so
Brady?
I have 2 concerns. One of them is hobby related. The other one is just MLB as a whole related. I'll start with the MLB as a whole. I don't think the lockout means anything to anybody until we start missing games.
Yeah,
or
correct.
That's
what I said. If it gets to a point where we start missing games.
Right. Yep. I just wanted to clarify that because luckily the MLB has enough of off-season stuff going on with the Super Bowl and college football. Yeah. But I think the issue maybe for the hobby that we see was last year, the hobby's highest point for Major League Baseball for 90-something% of players was leading up spring training and leading up to the start of the season. And if you have a ongoing lockout that is going to look like it might start impacting that, you're going to have a lot less excitement for the Major League Baseball season, which could very much limit the growth opportunity of Major League Baseball prospects. So right now we're in the midst of off season, and this is the time where you should, in a normal year, be buying guys that you like, right? You should be buying guys like Bobby Witt next year, or Julio Rodriguez, or if you think Devers is going to finally get some more love, or if you think Wander is going to go and be a superstar. But part of me concerns that because the longer the lockout goes on, where if you look like you're missing toward more games or missing games in general, the excitement might not be there. And for whatever reason, the Major League Baseball, it's almost as if once the season starts and whatever guy you liked isn't hitting 750 with 33 homers in 4 games in the first week of the season, people just are out. And I don't understand why. Unless you have a guy like last year with Vlad and Ohtani, right? They went on insane runs, so their prices skyrocketed. But, and so it just seems that this highest pricing wise has been before the season even starts, and the lockout could hamper some of that growth.
Right. All right, cool. Anyone else got anything to add to that? Otherwise we can move on. Nate, anything? You good? All right. Let's just touch on the MLB. We'll just kind of put the top 4 or so in each Eastern, Western. If you guys want to add anything to the NBA, and we'll do the same thing with the NHL, college basketball, and then we'll kind of move into the NFL, the baby, if you will. So NBA Eastern, obviously Nets sitting at top 16-7, Bulls 16-8 right behind them, Bucks 15-9, and then the Heat 14-10. In the Western, the Warriors are still hanging on there. They did get a couple more losses though, 19-4. Suns are 19-4 as well. Jazz are 16-7, and then the Grizzlies 13-10. Anything that's sticking out? Anything you guys are seeing right now, or anything that you want to touch on NBA wise while we're here? I don't think there's any NBA questions either, so I think we're good on that.
I guess the only thing is the Warriors and the Suns are like the best two teams in basketball right now. I know the Suns started out, I think, like 1-3. They won like 15,
They won 16 straight or whatever.
Games.
Yeah.
Warriors been good all season. The Bulls are still looking good. Nets kind of like struggle out the gate. They're starting to get their rhythm again. So I guess the only surprising thing is like you see Sixers at like 9th, Celtics are at 8th, Knicks are out of playoffs right now at the like 11 seed.
They started strong, but that was kind of a surprise, even.
Like they started strong and they got slow. So I mean, obviously it's only 24, 25, 26 games in, so still playing decent, but you're kind of starting to see like some teams move up, some teams that like are bad or like down. So
yep.
It's early season though.
All right, cool. Yeah, we're just gonna roll on. Then we're gonna move on. NHL. So Eastern Atlantic, we got the Panthers, Maple Leafs, Lightning. Eastern Metropolitan, we got the Capitals, Rangers, Hurricanes. West Central, we got my Wild, we got the Jets and the Blues, and then the Western Pacific, we got the Flames, Oilers, and Ducks. Balls, any crazy NHL hot takes for us that we don't know about?
Nope, just watch hockey when it's playoff time.
Yeah, right.
That's when playoff hockey's the best. It's like a lot of sports, even college basketball. I know we're gonna hit on it. I'm not gonna have anything to add because we're all waiting for the tournament. And if you want to jump in on hockey towards the end, that's when you want to watch hockey. So
I agree.
I'll try and get a few facts coming up, as we get towards the All-Star break and stuff. Really pay attention towards the second half. But as of right now, a lot of the teams that are in the race, like I said, if you're in the playoff position already, you're most likely going to make it, even with, still half the season left.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see in my Wild. I mean, I'm sure they'll be up there, always up there, but they always blow it in the playoffs every single year. They've been a strong team for the last, I don't even know, 5-6 years. Seem like we got a pretty together team, like make something happen, and then they just bite the dust when it comes playoff time. So you got to show up when it counts, right? If you're gonna make it, you got to show up when it counts. College basketball, we got AP and AP 25 and coaches. They're identical 1 through 5. I'm just doing the first 5. We got 1 at Duke, 2 at Purdue, Gonzaga at 3, Baylor at 4, and UCLA at 5. So anything you guys, Ball's already said he does not really have anything to add because he's going to be waiting for tournament time. Brady, you unmuted. What you got for me, buddy?
That's the old poll. The new one came out today.
What time did it come out at? Because I did this at 2 o'clock.
It's Purdue 1, Baylor 2, Duke 3, UCLA, Gonzaga, or UCLA 3, Purdue 1, Baylor 2, Duke 3, UCLA 4, Gonzaga 5.
Duke jumped to 3. Who did they lose to?
They lost to Ohio State. That was number 1. That was Joby 1 saying that Ohio State.
Oh, that's what he meant. See, I was thinking he was talking football. I didn't.
Yeah,
I wasn't
but
even,
no, Purdue.
I don't pay attention to college basketball until the freaking tournament either. So
no, Purdue looks really good. Purdue looks really good. They have a couple big guys. They'll probably, with Michigan really struggling right now, they're probably the pick to win the Big Ten. Obviously, number 1 in the country. They just look really, really good right now.
Bama beat Gonzaga that night too.
Yep.
I guess Fox Bama saying so. Interesting. Yeah, I don't really get into it beginning of the season. It's just kind of blah. Wait until it gets into tournament time, fun times. All right, man. Let's get to our baby here. We're about almost 50 minutes in. Let's get into the NFL. This will take a little while for us. couple highlights I'll just kind of point out, and then we'll just dive in. How about Goose? Was he trying to be Maverick or Goose? Gardner Minshew beats the Jets. You know, he needs a nickname like an ex-Philly quarterback, Nate. They called his real name was Nick Foles, he went by, but they called him Big Dick Nick. Gardner Minshew needs some kind of nickname now, man. He's coming like the Maverick. He's got the mullet cut. He's coming out like Maverick. Did you see how flippin' awesome that celebration video was when he saw his dad after the game?
Yes.
Like, I thought he was gonna kick his dad's ass. Like, he didn't look excited, like he was like happy smiling. He was like intimidated, like fucking whoa, and like pushing him, and like and his dad was like trying to laugh and be happy, and he was like still looking at him like this, like he was still like on some kind of freaking crazy something. He's smelt something and just was still ready to go. He was amped up, like those wake up things they sniff or whatever. Holy crap, man. Talk to us for a minute before I go on to the highlights. Since Philly's your team, talk to us a little bit about the Minshew madness.
Man, I don't know, Gardner Minshew, I know he just has that it with him. He just has like that kind of just that he just does a baller at the end of the day. He just
I
comes
like
out
him. I've
there.
always liked him.
Yeah, he just goes out there, just plays his game. But yesterday he was accurate. He just played like game manager. He had a nice touchdown pass to Goddard earlier in the game. He had another nice deep pass down the field. But yeah, he just having to have that factor, just to rally the team around. We play some inspired ball, especially in the second half of the game. And
do you remember? Do you guys remember when before Trevor Lawrence was drafted, but when he was basically gonna be getting drafted, or they knew it was coming, they knew they were gonna take him, and all the videos like they were doing Gardner Minshew was putting all these workout videos and stuff. I mean, it was insane, dude. He was like, it's not gonna be easy for him to just come in here and take over my quarterback spot, and blah blah blah. Like, I mean, it was pretty insane. It was. I give that he was kind of doing like the Antonio Brown like workout video crap, like where it was just insane the level of like what he was doing. So Balls.
He plays with that swag that Baker had at Oklahoma.
Yes.
Baker lost it, but like Gardner's got that.
Yep.
And I mean, I just love it. You know, let your personality show out. He's having a good time. Have fun with it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I don't know, like I see someone's like Ryan Fitzpatrick in him. Like he just has that kind of like that thing where he just comes out, he balls out, the team rallies around him, and he just had that love from the fans, the team. So yeah, he runs a lot of Fitzpatrick a lot for sure.
All right, so next I got there's a list here, but Chargers defeat the Bengals 41-22. It wasn't even close, right? The Bengals looked like they were a pretty solid team last week. They didn't look so great yesterday.
I know, like that game was interesting though, because the Chargers were up 24-0. The Bengals rallied back to make it 24-22, and then the Chargers they got like a fumble recovery off of Joe Mixon, ran that for a touchdown, and that was it.
Yeah,
that was a really interesting game.
The Washington football team defeats the Raiders. That was a crazy ending. If you guys were watching that, the end of that game was pretty insane. I'm just gonna roll through these little things I've highlighted, then we can go back, touch on whatever. The Lions get their first win against my Vikings. I saw that coming. I already knew that was gonna happen. Like I always say, any team, any crappy team comes up and shows up and plays. It's the way it goes. Steelers beat the Ravens to stay alive. A lot of talk about Big Ben. He's over with. He can't do it anymore. He has 5 minutes left on the clock. He drives down. They take the lead and almost gave it up, but they end up getting that win. Chiefs continue to improve. Rolling over the Broncos 22-9. I mean, it wasn't the craziest, kind of a weird game, but that's how some of those games are, those AFC games. Like, just seems like it's either if it's an AFC and an NFC team, it becomes more a shootout in a lot of cases. If it's an AFC versus an AFC, I don't know. You always see these just lower scored defensive what have you games. So what do you guys got for me? for what you saw this weekend. Throw out whatever else you got.
All right. Well, I'll lead off with a few things that I wrote down. Tom Brady, is he going to win another MVP? I mean, he's on just a crazy pace. I think he threw 51 times yesterday. And I think he completed like 38. I didn't see it, but he's just using different receivers. Godwin had 15 receptions yesterday. Leonard Fournette out of the backfield. Brady finds ways to beat teams. And I mean, right now, I think he's got to be the favorite in a lot of people's eyes as MVP. You know, the other thing I wrote down after Brady was, are the Chiefs back? And I put yes. You know, if you look, I talked about their defensive line a couple times, how they were missing a lot of key guys. They've now got those guys back and playing in positions that they normally play. And that defense has started to settle in. Only allowing 9 points last night. I know Denver's not a good offense by any means, but still 9 points in the NFL is tough to do.
Right.
Deafness, I wrote this. That's the final nail in the coffin to Zimmer. No matter what goes on from here on out, I think he's fired at the end of this year.
Are they just going to wait till the end of the year, though? Or are they going to do it? I mean, why not just do it now?
Hey, Deafnesskin's joining the Fire Coaches midseason team. Let's go.
Well, I mean,
welcome aboard, brother.
I mean, if you think that that's the right move and you think there's a better coach out there, why don't they just do it right now?
Well, they're in the playoff hunt. That's going to be their justification. They're in the playoff hunt. I know it's not right, but that's what it's going to be.
Yeah, that makes zero sense. If you don't, if as a organization, as an owner, you don't have the confidence, you want to can him, and you're in a playoff hunt, then you don't have that confidence that why not try to bring something in there to do it?
The Bears. I wrote down Jalen Hurts versus Gardner Minshew. Where do they go moving forward? Obviously, they're going to go back to Jalen. They're going to go back to Jalen Hurts, but I would love to see Gardner. You know, surprisingly enough, Washington right now, Washington's defense is playing some good ball. They're winning games, and I don't care if they're ugly or not.
Heineke's a baller, man. Taylor Heineke's a baller.
And
Kid is a baller.
You know, if Dallas doesn't get healthy, can Washington make a push for that? You know, right now, they're firmly in the 6th seed right now. I think they've got maybe a game or two lead on that 6th seed with both Minnesota and the Niners losing this week. You know, with the Eagles winning, they're starting to push back up there towards that race. And then Miami's now rolled off 5 straight. They're starting to get back in that talk. They get a bye this week, and then they play the Jets. So, you know, you don't count wins in the NFL, but they should be favored in that game. And then if you look, I'm sure Brady could pull it up. He's usually on the computer. But if you look at the AFC compared to the NFC, the NFC is the fight for the 7th seed right now. In the AFC, I want to say there's like 9 to 10 teams within a game of each other. And I think there's all like 14 within 2 games of each other. There's no slouches. Anybody's in it in the AFC. And that's what the NFL wanted by adding an extra week, is they wanted the drama of that extra week and what it would do to playoff implications. And it's not showing in the NFC. But those AFC races down the end are going to be just awesome to watch. You know, in Buffalo, we got a good one tonight. That Buffalo wins, they're the number 1 seed, I would think. Well, I think Tennessee would slide up to 1. It would shift the whole picture currently the way that it's standing. So huge implications in the AFC with every week now. And that's kind of what I have, fellas.
Cool. Brady?
Nothing much. I can't wait for the Bears to get completely embarrassed on Sunday Night Football this week. So I'm looking forward to I think we figured out Andy Dalton shouldn't be playing quarterback in the NFL.
Red Rifle.
Other than that, I mean, I don't really have much. To be honest, for me, it's kind of like the lull period in the NFL. I think obviously every week's a big week, but we're going to get a lot clearer picture over the next 3 weeks.
We can't blame you, Brady. You're watching a better team on Saturdays. Why would you subject yourself to that on Sundays?
Very true.
Right.
Everybody's going to get to watch the Bears Sunday night, and they're going to be like, how do you guys watch this team?
Hang on. Well, we got 2 on Thanksgiving. Hang on. How could the Michigan football team beat the Chicago Bears?
No. NFL is a different thing, but I would not bet money on
Balls. Look at Balls. Balls got steam coming out his ears. No. But you're gonna watch my team suck on Sunday night. But no.
Hey, I just hope Fields is back. I just have a reason to watch when he's playing. The entire team can play like trash, but if he has like one sick play like he did the week against the Raiders, I think it was.
Yeah.
All right, Brady, can I pose a question then real quick?
Yeah.
The Bears beat the Packers by 1 point.
Yes.
Or they get embarrassed. I'm talking like 49-10.
They'll beat them. That's how this NFL works. It's any given
49-10, but Matt Nagy is fired the next day. Which do you take?
I'm taking the loss and Matt Nagy being fired.
Of course you are.
What does a win against the Packers do?
What does a win do for you? Nothing right now. Like you better off just getting rid of that damn coach and moving on. Just hoping for next year, as we all do, right?
Hey, and plus, our draft pick, we already don't have it, so we might as well give him like the number 3 overall pick next year. We don't care about that either. So,
right? Exactly. What did Joey say? Oh. They can't beat Justin Fields. All right, let's go. Nate, you want to add anything before I go to questions on the football stuff?
I guess the only thing is this, the AFC, like says got the Patriots 8-4, Bills 7-4, Dolphins 6-7, Ravens are 8-4, Bengals 7-5, Steelers had a big win. They're 6-5-1, Titans 8-4, Colts been on the rise at 7-6. Chiefs 8-4, Chargers had a big win, 7-5. So yeah, the AFC, like they're right now, it's not really a clear cut dominant team right now. And then, like I said, in the NFC, you got the Eagles, you got the Washington football team 6-6, you got the 49ers at 6-6, Panthers, Falcons, Saints all 5-7, Vikings are 5-7. So yeah. So like the most important races so far is like the 7 seed or the 6-7 seed in the NFC, and then who finishes wherever in the AFC. It could be anybody from 1 through 7. So they're definitely gonna be interesting to see the next 4 or 5 weeks. See how that unfolds.
All right. So we got well, I'll just read Shaw's first. It's more just a comment towards us, but Deafness, Nate, Brady, and Balsley. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Great podcast as always, fellas. You guys bust my gut every show. Lots of great topics. And as always, thanks for all the insights. Thank you also so much for the win. He won last week. I'm using in your auctions. No problem. We appreciate you, Shaw. Fester, he says, if your team could get one of the following quarterbacks next season in free agency, which would it be? Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, and why?
I mean, Russ, I think, is the obvious choice there. 1, because of age, and 2, because of baggage. Rodgers, I mean, if you have a team, I guess, that you're trying to compete immediately, maybe you take Rodgers. But otherwise, it's Russ because he's younger, still has a lot of weapons, has been proven.
So what if Watson is cleared of all of this crap, or something different comes out? Or what if it's a different situation where cleared
in the core, or are we wiping his public opinion slate clean? Because he can be cleared of all charges, and still 60% of people are going to be like, "Oh, he's a terrible dude. I wouldn't want him on my football team."
Do you think if he's cleared in the court?
Yeah.
100%.
You think if he's found not guilty in the court, your higher percentage is going to be on.
I don't know. 60% maybe was too high. I think there would be a large majority of people who wouldn't believe.
Okay, so but if he's cleared and found not guilty, right? So that would show him, regardless of what some people say, because you know what happens, right? You know what happens. Not all, whatever percentage of these people that have this bias towards him, but if he joins a team and he starts playing great and it's their team they root for, or it's their fans and they start doing whatever, or they win, he wins them a bunch of money, they play him in DFS a week or two because of the spot he's in, no matter how much they hate him or off the street or whatever. And that bias that starts changing, you know what I mean? Like that can happen. That with success.
But we're not choosing between Andy Dalton and Deshaun Watson. If I have a choice, I'm not even going to worry about it. I'm just taking Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers. Like I 100% agree with you. If you're choosing,
I think for me,
I
think for me in a choice, it depends on what we're talking about. Like, do we have a team that could ultimately possibly win a championship? Then I want one of these older or semi-older guys. If we're looking for somewhere we're building, I want someone new, right? Because we're looking for a long history, like a dynasty run, if you will, if we can get one, like Dallas or whatever back in the day, right?
Yep.
So I think it depends.
Give me Aaron Rodgers so he doesn't beat me 2 times a year.
There you go.
I mean, shoot. If I have 1 or 2 quarterbacks, yeah, I'm definitely gotta take Rodgers. I'm sorry, the man's just too good, too talented. I know the Eagles might not be that Super Bowl ready team right now, but still, we got somebody like Aaron Rodgers. He could pretty much keep you in any game, any week. So, yeah, I gotta take Rodgers out of those 3.
I think again, it depends on how the question's being asked because it can be looked at different ways.
True. Yeah.
Obviously, if it's, hey, you got a team that's pretty much in contention and can possibly be there, I would take Rodgers over Wilson. If we're talking long term and depending upon what happens with this whole Watson thing, I think I might still take a stab at Watson if he gets cleared of all this crap on the court, whatever, because I think his presence on the field can change a lot of that bias, if he's found innocent and whatnot. So that's already cleared, and then better play or good performance on the field change things. So if you had a chance to go to any one sporting event, this is NAR U78, with the best seats, which would it be? If you go to one sporting event, best seats in the house, what would it be?
I probably say the Super Bowl easily. You gotta give me the best seats at the Super Bowl. Doesn't matter who's playing. Like that doesn't seem like something that there's a nice spectacle to go to. Always good environment. Always a lot of energy in the stadium at Super Bowl. So yeah, I probably say Super Bowl for me.
Brady?
I was trying to think which place would have like the dopest like box, because I'm assuming that's where maybe Dallas. Actually, how about this? Michigan, Alabama national championship in Indianapolis. There we go. That's where I want to go.
Yeah.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
If it's me, give me Game 7 of the World Series.
Ooh.
I don't even have to be a fan of either team. Just let me be there, and it's a close game. Would be pins and needles the whole time from first pitch to the last out. So Game 7 of the World Series. I don't want to copy Nate, so I'll give you something different. Game 7.
All right. Well, if we got to be different, then I'm going to say Game 7 of the NHL Finals. Not even being a hockey fan, just to be different. But otherwise, it would probably be World Series at right behind home plate or right there by, kind of where the Marlins guy always sits, kind of right, maybe not right there, but right to the left or to the right. So you're not, no view. You don't got that blockage of the ump and anybody. Otherwise, Super Bowl, I think, as well. Nate hit it on the head. And then, if you're college football, if my Gophers were the Michigan Wolverines, then it'd be something like that, like going to the game like that. So great, great answers, guys.
I have a question. I have a question that kind of goes along with it that just popped in my head.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you could go back to any sporting event in the history of all of sports,
that'd be a good. You should have posted that for next week.
I just thought about it. Where would you go? Or what event would you go to? Whether it be Babe Ruth pointing and hitting the homer, or some awesome, something
we gotta have time to think about that. How about you post that after it goes, and we'll think about it throughout the week.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Well, that'll be my question for next week. Then
Write
I'll
it
post it.
down.
I'll post it in
down.
the. Wait, start thinking about
forget.
it.
Yes,
I already got mine. I
well,
know it.
hold it. Wait till next week because I don't. And I don't know if Nate does. If he does, I don't
No.
care. We'll wait until next week. All right. Last week, you guys talked about greatest linebackers and greatest running backs. Who is the greatest quarterback not named Tom Brady?
Not named Tom Brady.
Balsley or Nate can go, whichever one, and then Brady, and then whichever direction.
I think, for me personally, it's Peyton. And I would even say Peyton might be the greatest quarterback of all time, and Tom Brady might be the greatest winner of all time. Because I think skill set, Peyton Manning was on a level that I'm not sure we've ever seen. And, what he could do with the football. And you look at some of the record-breaking year for him, and just some of the skill that he had throwing the football, it's second to none. So you can definitely make the argument that he might be the most skilled quarterback of all time, and Tom Brady might be the best winner. But that would be my answer.
I didn't really get to see him play, but I've always heard stories of my dad talking about Joe Montana. So, from what I've seen, Bill Walsh, you could always give him credit. It's one of those things, nature versus nurture. Besides Brady, I would probably go Montana.
All right, Nate.
Shoot, man. I agree with Balls on this one. I gotta go Joe Cool, Joe Montana.
What do you think, Big Dick Nick?
I gotta go Joe Cool though, Joe Montana. He ran that West Coast offense to perfection. He was just a leader. I mean, you couldn't count him out, and he just ran the offense to perfection.
Okay,
Bulls.
Probably gonna go Jaws or Tony Romo. No, I'm gonna go. You guys threw out the other ones out there, so I'm gonna say a guy that I always say, like, hey, I can appreciate greatness. I'm gonna say the old Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers. We get a little clap on the head from Balls.
It's just disappointment, Balls. That's all it is. Disappointment.
Is that all it is?
That's good. Oh, yeah.
Well, you already listed the other ones. It's not
right. No, I appreciate you giving a different answer.
Are the Colts, Eric Stallings, are the Colts legit, or will they choke like they normally do? Colts from Eric Stallings.
I'll probably say the Colts are legit, especially with John Taylor emerging as the workhorse back. They got him. Naeem Hines is that good change of pace kind of guy. They got Carson Wentz is playing some good ball this year, and they got a very good defense. Their front seven is good. They had a couple of safeties like Kenny Moore in the back. So, yeah, they just continue to run the ball well and play some good solid defense. Then,
yeah,
it is pretty much just make sure Carson Wentz doesn't turn the ball over and make stupid mistakes. Then they should have a good chance of going far.
That's the only problem. Can he, when they get in playoffs or a playoff time, can he do it? Like, or is he going to make mistakes? Like,
that's exactly why I will not be betting on the Colts.
Yeah.
They can run the ball, they can play decent defense, but in the playoff time, you have to have your quarterback.
Yeah, and if you can't throw, if there's no plan of throwing, they just plan the 9-man up or whatever on Taylor, and even if they can do it, they can't. Yeah. I don't think they're going to win that way, but I'm not saying they're not a good. It's going to be difficult with Wentz, I think, at the helm.
And I think for them too, they have to get a home playoff game. Can they be a team that wins in the first round? Yeah, I mean they could. They could be. They could still win that division. I don't think Tennessee's without Henry. I don't think they're untouchable anymore in that division. So they got some ground to make up, but. They could win a playoff game, but they're not a contender for a title. No, not yet.
Right.
Yeah. And also another thing is that, I mean, it's kind of that question mark, or maybe like why you might be hesitant is that Carson Wentz, he hasn't really played a full playoff game. Remember 2017 Super Bowl run, he missed the season. 2018, we made the playoffs, he missed games as well. And then 2019, he played about a quarter or something like that. Then he got hurt. That's when Joshua Count came in. So
Right.
we don't know how Carson Wentz is going to play in the playoffs. So that could be a question. Like, I'm not sure, but like I said, if they could just continue to run the ball and play defense, then they got a chance.
All right. I don't think there's any more football questions. I mean, they got a couple over here in the thing. NFC usually seems to have playoffs locked, and AFC always sends it to a battle. Nate, are you happy that your draft pick for the Eagles trading Wentz is now a top 15 pick? That's 3 top 15 picks for the Eagles, Joby once said.
Yep. Yeah. Obviously, having the 3 first-round picks is good, but I mean, things like after the Colts probably might be like in the 20s if they continue to win. We got the Dolphins pick; they starting to win as well, so that might be like late teens or something like that. So, but honestly, the problem with the Eagles has been our drafting. Obviously, we haven't really drafted well, especially in the first round.
Right.
Obviously, we drafted Rager in front of Justin Jefferson. That was one mistake. And then we made some few other bad picks. So, but
yeah,
if we somehow could like hit on like at least 2 of those picks, like maybe get some defense because our defense has been, but
right.
Yeah, so I mean, or maybe trade those and get like a star player somewhere. I don't know, but yeah, like Adam is definitely good. Definitely is huge for that flexibility. So.
Man, they need to trade those picks for Deshaun Watson. They need the quarterback. Hurts ain't taking them nowhere.
I don't know. Like,
what about Minshew, baby? They got Minshew.
Oh, gee.
Hurts ain't doing it. What's Minshew doing? Come on, Minshew mania, baby.
Oh,
You start a whole craze, the Minshew mania. Like he'd be like the WWE guy, like just being dramatic, like pregame and after games, and like just be a new image for Philly. Like, that's what Philly likes too. You guys, some of those fans like to get rowdy, right? Like, they do some crazy stuff, man.
He's rumored to be on the market.
Like Minshew mania. What?
Sorry, I'm sorry for interrupting you. He's rumored to be on. He's rumored to be on the market, man. What about those 3 firsts for Russ?
I actually seen like a bunch of reports that said like the Eagles were like interested in getting Russell Wilson. I mean, obviously we get somebody like his caliber, his prestige, his background is like okay, it makes sense. So, but man, that 3 firsts for him. I mean, like I would be totally opposed to that, but. I will hopefully Hurst can still like prove that he's like the guy, so guys can kind of use those picks to build around him or at least build up that defense instead of kind of like having to use the picks for trade for quarterback. But
yeah,
I would be opposed to that. But
all right,
but like the Eagles do. I mean, Eagles fans do like the backup QB. So
yeah, actually, you know what?
Well,
that's the one I missed. It was actually Nate's question.
Yeah. Yep.
What team will Russell Wilson play for next season? That was actually what he posted.
Yep.
False?
I'm not going to be a friendly answer, but he's going to stay in Seattle. They'll fire Pete Carroll instead. They'll do anything to keep the quarterback happy. You can't let Russ leave. So they'll fire Pete Carroll, let him have a decision in picking the head coach. And he'll stay in Seattle.
Brady?
I'm going to say the same.
Nate?
If you really think he's your quarterback, he's young enough to where they will try something else before they let him go.
I don't know. Honestly, I think he might be on a move. I don't think he's gonna stay in Seattle. I think it is too much that's happened between like the all season, like because I mean like they can fire Pete Carroll, but like I think it's still much more problems on that team, more than just Pete Carroll. Like the offensive line still isn't good. They've had a run game since Marshawn Lynch, so out of that feeling they might just move on for him, and it's just maybe they might move on for him, might fire Pete Carroll and start fresh.
So here we go. Here's his record, Pete Carroll's record, right? So, as a Seattle Seahawks, he is that correct? 149, 102, and 1. Postseason 11 and 10.
Well, yeah, he's probably coached 13 years.
Yeah.
Shit.
16 a year. That's, I mean,
Yeah.
I can't do it. I'm not a math major, but
he's got almost just under a 600, winning percentage.
but he's also like 70 years old right now, and maybe the game is kind
he
of
still wears khakis and can get up and down the field. He's right up down the field where he needs to be, like crouched and doing what he's got to do and seeing what's going on. You see him, he's active.
One of the teams that's rumored for Russ, I'll give you 3 teams, and then you guys kind of tell me what you think. I would say Philly because they have the draft capital.
Yep.
I would also say Miami. Miami's been heavily talked about with Deshaun. Do they move on and go to Russ? And then the other team, there's been talks that, Sean Payton wants a quarterback. Do they make a move somehow to go get Russ?
That'd be so weird seeing him.
It would be extremely difficult with their cap situation. They would have to make a lot of things work. But out of those 3 teams, Nate, who would you take? One of them is trading for Russ. He cannot stay in this situation. Who is taking him?
I'll take option. Go ahead.
I'd probably say Miami. It seems like Miami just don't believe in Tua at all. Like it seemed like they're trying to get Deshaun Watson easily. Like to be honest, like if it wasn't for all the allegations against Deshaun Watson, he'll be a Dolphin already.
Oh
I believe so.
Yeah, he'd be playing.
Yeah. So I think Russell Wilson probably will. Like if he were to get traded, probably will be to Miami. Unless Philly does come with all first 3 first round picks, then I might change it. But I think if he were to get traded, probably will be Miami. I can see that.
Brady?
I'm taking option D, the Las Vegas Raiders.
Ooh, no, wow, okay.
Look at that out of left field. Throws
like
balls
that.
for a loop over there.
It just seems like a team that's got a new stadium. They need a shiny new toy.
And it fits his wife as, she wants to be on a bigger stage. What bigger stage than Vegas for Sierra?
Yeah.
So he does have a no trade clause, so he would, determine where he went. So Vegas is definitely interesting, Brady, that you say that.
Also, I think I saw somebody mention this on Twitter, but could we see Russell Wilson in Denver?
It's another one.
Could be another except with Teddy Bridgewater, Drew Lock hasn't done much. So Russell Wilson kind of had like that ending career. I mean, like Peyton Manning had. It's kind of like you got Judy, you got Cortland Sutton, so you got weapons there. You got Javonte Williams.
That same kind of playing atmosphere too that he plays at home in Seattle, right? Like similar. Obviously a higher altitude, but very similar in like kind of what he would play at when he's playing. Half his games at home. So it's interesting. That's an interesting take. Boy, I don't really know. I mean, I don't know where he goes. I don't know. It's going to be hard to say, I think. So,
what other questions we got?
Just the Olympics, I think, is it. The boycott in the Olympics. Any takes on the boycott in the Olympics?
Honestly, that's the first I've heard of it. I haven't really
Me too. Your dad dropped that. I figured maybe you two he was getting you schooled up for that question.
Yeah, so the Olympics is going to be where in 2024?
Are we doing summer or are we doing winter here?
It's 22. It's the 22 Winter Olympics.
A
statement by the Biden administration says ongoing genocide and crimes against humanity in Xinjiang. So it's in China.
Okay.
Well, I would say that it's not good for our. We shouldn't be sending anybody over and.
Way too political for this show.
Seems like a big political thing, and it just seems like just something we probably shouldn't get all of our athletes sent over somewhere and everything else in a situation like that. If that's really what's going on.
I will say one thing though.
Safety.
If the athletes make a decision that they don't want to go do something, we should support them for standing up for what they believe in. That's about
absolutely. So I'm saying I don't think they should go. Like if that's what's happening or that's what's being said on. So
and if athletes feel that way, if they feel like they want to stand up for that, then we should be saying good for you for standing up for your principles.
I 100% agree.
So,
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
Well, gang, I think that's probably it. Again, guys, don't forget to drop your comments, questions, topics. Once we end, it should be almost available at the upload deal. Drop it in there. Get your shot. Again, congrats to Joby1 Kenobi on the win tonight for this week. You guys got anything to add? We'll go watch the second half of this game, I guess, and just chill out.
Well, the only thing that I'll say is I've got a thing going on Twitter from now on, and Brady talked about it last week. I kind of took an initiative off that. Every Monday I've been posting Mental Health Monday. Just tell me how you're feeling. Hit me up, start a conversation if you're going through some stuff. We can share our wins and losses together. Be open about it. You don't have to, but I want to see it grow each week, how many responses I get from people. So, check in with somebody if you haven't in a while. People need it right now.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, great thing you got going, Balls. Anyone else got anything happening or rolling or popping?
I guess the only thing is that we got a pretty interesting Thursday night game coming up.
Yeah,
Football. Yeah, we got Steelers Vikings Thursday night. So they got a lot of playoff implications.
Fights will lose, I'm sure. Anyway, so.
Oh no! That seems like they say a game the Vikings probably will win. They kind of like they kind of had like a bad loss last week. They got like a pretty high Steelers team come in. So
yeah,
and the game's at Minnesota.
Yeah, well, that's maybe at home. All right, and then and then just the last thing. I actually am going to be breaking 2 nights this week because I'm covering for one of my boys that usually does it Wednesday nights because he's got some Christmas party somewhere, an early Christmas party thing he had to go to. So I will be doing Wednesday and Thursday nights, but there's a video also posted. Balls brought up at the beginning of the show with Triple Diamonds logo and stuff on the header as well. Make sure you guys watch that. Get involved. Be in Triple Diamonds YouTube chat or Facebook. Their Facebook Triple Diamonds Sports Breaks. Facebook, one of the two. Be in there when I'm live. I'm going to go live 6:30, 7 o'clock on Thursday night. I'll be there Wednesday and Thursday, but this giveaway is going to be on Thursday night because I didn't know I was doing Wednesday as well until later on. But I'll be there both nights. So, guys, check them out if you want to get any breaks, want to hang out. BS with us both nights. Great just to see you pop in, see your support, whatnot, and get to know the guys over there in the crew. So, all right. That's all I got, man. I think everybody else is pretty much set to go. So we thank all of you for being here watching, everyone live, everybody that watches it later. Make sure you all subscribe, hit that thumb up, leave that comment, question, or topic. We'll see you guys next week. Take care.